Okay, so after the whole debacle that is Destiny 2,
Any last words?
How's Marathon working for you?
Can you stop? Can you stop now? Can you stop? Can I play the video game? Like, can you stop? Are you done? Oh my god!
I decided to buy the complete collection of Destiny 1, because people seem to flock back to it. I have never played Destiny and never quite understood the appeal of it. Now, I started playing The Division 2 a while back. I already bought it when it released, but dropped it pretty quickly back then. Fast forward to 2026, and I'm having so much fun with it. Like literally even dreaming about it when I'm sleeping. It just hooked me. It has many flaws, especially the non-existent storyline, and the user interface is just a hassle to deal with. But if you stick with it and get to learn the systems it has, it is a very rewarding game. And although I really don't like Ubisoft, I have to give them credit for it. Now, after having so much fun with The Division, I thought I should give this whole looter shooter thing another try. But before we get into it, we need to talk about the studio that made Destiny, Bungie. The studio had very humble beginnings, being born in a basement in Chicago, brought to life by two guys, Alex Seropian and Jason Jones, determined to remain an independent studio only answering to their creativity. They would find success and a following with a little game called Marathon, and afterwards went on to develop Halo. This would lead to them being acquired by Microsoft after first showing the game to Apple. They would go on to develop Halo 2, 3, ODST, and Halo Reach for Microsoft, before becoming a privately held company and parting ways with Microsoft, leaving the rights to Halo with them. They would continue to grow and in 2010 signed a 10-year publishing agreement with Activision Blizzard. With funding secured, they would announce their new game Destiny in 2013 and would go on to release it 1 year later. My history with the studio began with Halo Combat Evolved back in the day, and when Halo 3 came out, I thought that this was the absolute peak gaming could ever achieve. It had everything: great story, amazing gameplay, phenomenal multiplayer, and absolutely gorgeous music to go along with it. I'm always a big sucker for music in games, and I will forgive a lot of flaws if the music is good. But in Halo 3, it just elevated an already great game to a masterpiece. After that, ODST and Halo Reach were also pretty good, but not on the same level. That was the last thing I had to do with Bungie, because Halo 4, 5 and Infinite were developed by 343 Industries, and we don't talk about that here.
So, we jump right into character creation. We need to choose a class, and at first I wanted to go with the Hunter, because I liked how it looked, but I decided on Warlock in the end.
After that, we get to customize our appearance.
Not too many options, but I don't mind. I always rush through these because I don't care too much.
But I think I did a pretty good job.
Then we are hit with a nice little cutscene which explains how humanity found a giant ball which they call the Traveller.
The Traveller is sort of a godlike entity which created the Guardians as which we play and ushered in a golden age.
I love the music here with the title drop. I hope it stays that good. After that, we jump into the game and get introduced to a small flying entity which is called a ghost.
He brings us back to life, mentioning that we are a Guardian.
And we are off to find our destiny. We wander around for a bit, and I'm pretty amazed how good this game still looks. It came out in 2014 and looks better than a lot of modern titles. I really wonder why that is. But just look at this scene right here in the beginning. It has such a nice atmosphere. I really like it a lot. We get our first weapon and the shooting feels really good.
It is very snappy and has a nice weight to it. The sound design is also absolutely on point, which was expected from Bungie. We push forward in search for a ship that can get us out of here, and on the way we kill more enemies which are called the Fallen, which funnily enough reminds me of a certain someone. After a while we find a ship which is in a miserable state,
but our ghost manages to repair it, and we are off to a new destination. I wonder who that guy is though.
Ooh, mystery man.
We arrive at the tower. This is the hub area of the game, where you find quest givers, vendors, your stash, and for the first time see other players. I was really surprised by how many people there are, which was a delight to see. Mind you, it was around 2 AM when I captured the footage.
Let's talk about the user interface. I complained earlier about it in The Division, but I am relieved to see that it is very manageable here. Nothing fancy, but also nothing that drowns you in menu after menu. You have your character, where you swap your weapons and other gear, inventory where your currency and other collectible stuff is stored, progress where you can see your quests, settings and roster. I will say though, I don't like this pointer thingy which you use to select things. I can see that it works on a PC, but on a console it just doesn't feel very good. Apart from shooting, you're also able to use abilities like a grenade, a melee attack, and a so-called super which you have to charge up by killing enemies. These abilities are determined by a subclass, and every class gets 3 of them. In addition, you have a few passive abilities which either transform your active ones or change your stats in some way. After getting familiar with the tower and its different systems and inhabitants, we jump back into our ship and tackle the next few quests, which after a while leads us to this part here, where we investigate some kind of facility and the atmosphere changes suddenly.
Hi.
It went from nice little space shooter to cosmic horror very quick, which I didn't have on my radar at all. I got so sucked in that I full on panicked here and even managed to kill myself with a grenade. At this point I have to say that I didn't expect the game to be challenging at all, because I heard from a lot of people that Destiny 2 is way too easy. So I had in mind that this must be pretty much the same here, but I got humbled a few times while playing. I like the general gameplay loop of going to one of the hub areas, accepting quests, then going out to one of the different planets, doing the quests and getting loot and experience in the process, then returning and handing in all the quests and decipher the engrams you got while doing any kind of activity. Engrams are these unknown loot drops you first have to identify. On the topic of loot, it's a nice change of pace not getting completely drowned in it, which makes it feel valuable. Not like, for example, in Diablo 3, where it literally is raining loot sometimes. Maybe that changes later on, but for now I'm happy with it. I noticed that I would get these grimoire cards quite frequently, and they said that you have to visit the Bungie website for more information. That's a bit strange, so I go to their website, but nothing about grimoire cards. So I tried Google, and it basically said that it was a trash feature that would have explained the lore, but they got rid of it in Destiny 2, so now you have to visit a different site called the Ishtar Collective to read about them. Yeah, that's not good. I'm not quite sure about the story. Well, at least for the base game. Often the game will just info dump a bunch of stuff while you're in a loading screen, or your ghost will straight up ramble on about things. And I don't know if it's just me, but I honestly can't keep most of it because I'm either in the middle of something or it's just too much. Then on the other hand, you have more cinematic parts, which can be very good, like when we meet the Queen for the first time. And then there are ones where the writing just feels off. It's quite strange. Like, what do you mean?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
That doesn't even make any sense at all. The base story centers around the threat of Earth being attacked by a machine-like species called the Vex. Over the course of the game, we follow cues about how they operate and how to stop them. It's not the most compelling story, but definitely has its moments. Like, for example, when we have to face the Gate Lord, and later on when we arrive at the Black Garden. It instantly gets better though, as soon as you go into the DLC. You can really feel that something must have changed because all of a sudden, there are much more intricate levels. And the design of the main villain, Oryx, is just badass. One of the most fun activities in the game are so-called strikes, which are a bit like dungeons in World of Warcraft. They aren't easy, so you need someone to help you out. I tried one alone and got absolutely destroyed, despite me being way above the recommended level. Although it's not easy to find people for specific strikes, there is a playlist which lets you play random ones where it's much easier to get into a squad. The best thing you can do though is grab a friend or two, go into voice chat and tackle it that way. It's great fun and really made the game a lot more enjoyable. I mentioned earlier that I really love music in video games, So I had high hopes for the soundtrack here, especially knowing that Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore were involved with it. You know, the guys who also made the amazing Halo music. Although it isn't quite as good as that one, I liked it very much. The music is much more ambient and not so in your face like it was in Halo. That isn't to say that there aren't a few tracks who really stand out, so here are a few of my favourite ones. It does a great job immersing you in the moment, especially when you are wearing headphones, and this is the part where my sponsorship comes into play.
If I had one!
So what did I think of Destiny? Let's see. I had a blast playing this game. I honestly didn't think it would be this good, and I will probably play a lot more of it. I get why it is so beloved, and many people, me included now, want a Destiny 3. Hopefully Bungie will do the right thing in the end. It certainly has its flaws and can get a bit repetitive, but the core gameplay loop is so strong that I honestly didn't mind. I hope you enjoyed watching. And yeah, it is absolutely goated.